2016 called and they want their tactics back. This is as old as the internet at this point. Create a controversy so that you then can cry on the internet and play the victim card. Yes, you're the multimillionaire. You go out in public and you go, oh, what a horrible world. But unironically, though, I love the fact that they have the balls. Like, I can say that these people are filled with toxic masculinity because you need to have balls to pull something like this. To go out in public and to claim that right-wingers are upset over your Doctor Who. Like, the very fact that you believe that there is a single right-winger at this point which still watches Doctor Who shows how astonishing these people are. Like, they are so disconnected from reality at this point that they live in a fantasy land with unicorns and with Charlie Chaplin. I mean, no, seriously, the people that got upset over the casting of Isaac Newton are leftists. Like, only leftists are watching Doctor Who now. The only time that right-wingers are even aware that this show exists is when they try their best in order to spark a controversy. So they went out of their way in order to racially replace a historic figure, knowing that even the left is going to be upset. Like even the people that pay their license for BBC, like, imagine doing that. And those people are the ones that got upset. Like, it's not right-wingers. Like, I'm sorry, right-wingers watch anime. We actually respect ourselves. Like, we actually respect our time. And when it's time for entertainment, we watch something entertaining. The BBC is incapable of being creative. Like you're incapable of making even something remotely entertaining because you do not rely on the public to pay you. You do not rely on advertisements. You get the license. You steal money from people for a living. So, us normal folk that have to work for a living, we actually have to value our free time, so we watch entertaining stuff like South Korean stuff. The minorities that you cherish so much. Because I have been trained to love diversity, why would I love the BBC? Why would I love the BBC when it's staffed by so many cisgender, heteronormative, straight white men? I go for Japan. Like, Japan is a country filled with minorities, Japanese people, Asians. I want to give them my hard-earned money. Or the South Koreans. At this point, I would even say that Bollywood is capable of making stuff far more entertaining than the BBC can muster. So what do we have here? Well, apparently they are Pikachu faced. Like, they're shocked. They would never see this coming, that by race swapping a historical figure, even people on the left would be upset. Right. Like, try this experiment, okay? Go to China, or go to India, or go to South Korea, or go to Zimbabwe. Like, go into any other nation that you want outside of the United States, Europe, Australia, and a couple of others, and try pulling this shit. Like, try making a movie in China where you race swap one of their historical figures. Right? You put, like, a gay guy from California to play the role of Mao. And see how the Chinese people... How do you think they would react? With laughter and mockery. That's like the normal, healthy human response. But then you have the left-leaning ideologues, which look at what's normal, healthy, and human, and they say, no, that's unacceptable. Right. So, I just want to point out that I don't think people are upset because you race swap the character. Because if this was like a high school event where people had to put on a play, and, like, they have various minorities and they have to be included because it's like a small play in a school, and they would cast a Latinx as the role of Isaac Newton, no one would complain because it's like, well, it's a school play. I mean, they can't afford to hire people, right? So they have to include the students that are there. Like, that's fine. But you're the fucking BBC. Like, you want to tell me with a straight poker face that you couldn't afford to hire someone authentic? Like, someone that looks and plays the part? You do not have the resources? Like, that month, you didn't manage to gather enough licenses. You didn't terrorize enough grannies in the UK that they didn't pay their license. So, all of a sudden, you just happened to run out of funds. Because this is the thing. It's like, oh, it's sad that we're at a time where people villainize by race. Why are you villainizing Isaac Newton? Like, why would it be wrong to cast a white person to play Isaac Newton? Do you not think like people would be upset if you casted a white guy as Blade? In fact, I would be upset. But you know what? This is, you are creating the controversy. Like you are scraping the bottom of the barrel. You are milking the dead cow. Like you're trying literally everything imaginable in order to try and milk some offense, in order to get some ratings up there. I mean, it's getting to the point where my video probably gets more views than your shit. And I would say that's concerning. It is more entertaining to watch Critical Drinker or EFAP or anyone else that makes fun of Doctor Who than to watch Doctor Who itself. And it's not because of Isaac thing. No, like, your show is fucking boring. Who is it for? Who watches it? Like, it's not popular in Mexico, is it? It's not popular in China. It's not. You know what's popular in Mexico? Fucking anime. You know what's popular in China? Also anime. Like the West has seized ground for other countries to come in and become the new Walt Disney. To become the new Hollywood. I mean, South Korea, my fucking god, they're making so many excellent movies now. Because, like, they're prioritizing entertainment. They're not thinking, like, how can we upset people? How can we offend people? Like, what exactly can we do to antagonize our viewers? They're not thinking like that. They're not thinking like, how can we lecture our viewers? How can we preach to our viewers? This is modern version of televangelism that you're doing. Like what the televangelists did back then, you guys are doing it now. This is your tactic. Like, you know it's going to upset people. And not to mention, you know, oh, it's sad that people villainize my... It's sad that people have been trained by the mainstream media, by the academia, to think that you need authenticity, right? So, like, if someone is, for example, in a cartoon, if someone plays an Asian character in a cartoon, the voice actor has to be Asian. If someone is gay in a movie, like if it's a gay character, it needs to be played by a gay actor. Like, this is what the BBC has been preaching. I can find you articles where they talk about the importance of authenticity. Even in cartoons, even in video games. Like, if it's a character that's Asian, if it's a Japanese character, it has to be played by a Japanese voice actor. And when you train people like that, you're training them like Pavlov dog to think that this is important when it's really not. Like, you should cast, when it comes to voice actors, like, for example, Christopher Judge did a very good God of War. Like, their voice matters, right? But when you train people to think like that, then you're Pikachu face that the same people you trained are now saying that, yeah, we don't like the fact that you decided to cast a minority in the role of Isaac Newton. And you know, like, the idea that people have to like it. Like, it's subjective, isn't it? These are the same individuals that say, well, art is subjective. You can't really judge. So isn't offense subjective as well? Like, what offends you, does it need to offend me as well, and vice versa? So apparently to the casting director, which had absolutely no idea that this is going to cause a backlash because they race swapped, is considering that viewers own racist attitudes. Yes, like in 2023, this is what racismus is, right? Like, this is the epitome of racismus. Like, why is it evil? Because people don't watch TV shows, according to BBC. Like someone may be upset about a different casting. You know, like, go back in time to Nazi Germany and tell the Jewish people who are oppressed, you know, you're having it bad now. But wait till you see what the British is going to do to its public. I mean, they're going to swap characters, historical characters in movies. Can you imagine? Jesus fucking Christ. So apparently, the second 3 new Doctor Who holiday special had Isaac Newton being race swapped. And they broached the topic, saying that because it's a brief but important moment, you can get an actor in and out quickly. Yeah, and it just so happened that you couldn't get a person that looks like Isaac Newton. Like, I'm not even saying a white guy. Like, I do not look like Isaac Newton. I would have been a poor casting choice for this role. Like, you should cast someone that literally looks as close as possible as Isaac Newton, because you're the BBC. The idea is to create immersion. Like, you're supposed to make people believe that, oh, wow, hey, yeah, this is recognizable. It's like if I was to cast Abraham Lincoln. in a TV show or in a video game, right? Like, you would look at the historical face of Abraham Lincoln because it's available, and you would cast someone that's as close, relatable to the character, right? Isn't this, like, don't they teach you this in casting school anymore? What the fuck did they learn in casting school? Like, I'm literally curious, if casting isn't as important and it can just pluck a person off the street, why don't you just fire the guy like you're paying him extra? Just have an AI do it. Have an artificial intelligence do it. Like, if your job is so fucking replaceable that it doesn't really matter if you cast someone that looks the part, how can you justify your wage? Afuera! Afuera, like our Argentinian president says. So apparently this was Russell's idea, actually. We had talked about trying to get Nathaniel in the show at some point, and I think some sort of rather cheeky but fun interpretation of Isaac Newton. It's not a historical drama. No, it's not a historical drama, of course, but you do need to cast some immersion, shouldn't you? Like, if you're not going to take it seriously and you're going to take the piss at all time, then again, like, why do you even have a job? Why do you need a casting director if literally anything can go? Like, if you can cast Will Smith to play Rosa Parks, why do you know, or Will Smith to play Anne Frank? Why do you need a casting director at that point if humans are so interchangeably and there's absolutely nothing to be gained in casting authentic people? And of course, like, everyone knows they would never do this if it was like a black person, right? So if it was like Martin Luther King, they would never cast, I don't know, Emma Watson to play Martin Luther King, right? Like, they would never do that. But for some reason they do this, and then they're shocked when there's a controversy. And then they go to the press, and it's like, oh, what a world. Oh, it's so horrible. Yes, Britain, it still needs so much. We need another 1,000 years in order to remove the racismus from our society, because look what they are doing with our TV shows. So apparently, from there, Opie then turned to their discussion. There's been a backlash from the so-called fans. Yeah, again, they're all left. Anyone who watches Doctor Who is a leftist at this point. Probatio ad diabolica. Prove to me that this is not the case, and I will believe you. Like, prove to me that there is a right-winger who watches Doctor Who. No, unironically, I'm not kidding. Is there anyone that actually tunes in? Like, you're a right-winger, and you're still watching Doctor Who in 2023. I want to know. Because they made it absolutely clear they do not want you to be part of the audience. Like, you're the bad person, right? So, anyway, you've engaged in a bit of discussion online, so people villainize minorities. No, people villainize you, though. Like people weren't upset at the actor, right? Like, this is important. They weren't upset at the actor. They're not saying that the actor did a bad job. They're literally upset at the casting director. They're not upset at the casting director's identity either, right? No, you personally. Like, they're upset at Mr. Prior working at the BBC. This is who people are upset at. So growing up as a gay man, I'm aware as anybody else of how this stuff makes you feel when you see it, how negatively it affects you. And yet, you went on and you casted it anyway. I don't think you're aware, I think you're lying. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.